How you doing, everybody? Now we're starting with the Contender series, but unfortunately we started on episode 3. We didn't see the first 2, but now we saw the episode 3. And when I saw that, it looks like there was a fight already canceled. It was Felipe dos Santos against Luciano Pereira, but Luciano missed weight, which means Felipe gets to go to UFC 293 with the contract already. Didn't even have to fight. So I thought that was pretty neat. I'm like, wow. And how do you not, how do you miss weight when you're fighting for a contract? What do you think they're going to say? Oh, it's okay, we'll do a catch weight or something? I mean, you're fighting for the freaking contract. Why don't you got your shit together? That's what I don't understand.
That's crazy because Contender Series is like the toughest interview for any person of your life, right? For a job. And for them to come in, and Dana White obviously did like the other guys to give him a contract without even having to fight for it. But super disappointing. Like to come in overweight in an event such as this, which is really cool. Like earn yourself a ticket into UFC. You just got to win this one fight, put it all in, all your eggs in one basket and put it out there, you know? And no, this guy...
It's like
snacking here and there.
It's like a police officer going for an interview for a police department, but I don't have my gun for a shooting thing. Like, I didn't bring my gun. Like, what the fuck? Get out of here. So we started with one fight. So apparently the card is 5 fights, and depending on how they do, it's not because if you win you get a contract. It's if you win and you do good.
Yep.
And that's pretty what it was. So Luis Pajuelo, versus Robbie Ring. I'm trying to say that right because even Daniel DC was trying to say that right. Pajuelo or something.
Pajuelo.
I
don't know. We're fucking it up.
So Robbie has a 6-0 with 3 knockouts and 3 subs. Luis has 7 wins, 6 by KO. So right there, they both have some impressive records on there. So what do you think about this fight? Do you have any notes on this fight?
Yeah, so pretty much what you listed right now, but also like going into round 1, Ring was definitely throwing some heavy punches from the get-go, and you could tell they were packed with some power. But Pajuelo, he was able to handle those punches. Even told Ring to keep on coming at me, you know. So you could just tell that Mexican heritage in this guy, or the Latin heritage of those fucking boxers that could take it on the chin and keep pushing forward. This guy fits it, and he definitely held his ground during that exchanges. And I even saw Ring throw like a little panic takedown at one point. And it was kind of crazy because Pajuelo, he should just let him get back up and just finish him standing up, but he took it to the ground, and then they were able to get back up at some point. And then Pajuelo definitely took him back down again. I forgot exactly how he fell back down. I can't recall, but ended up in side control. And then that's when he threw that heavy knee to the gut.
Oh, I saw that when he was on the floor there.
Yep.
He threw that knee, and I'm like, oh my God. And Luis is, that's pretty much breaking him down on the floor. Those body shots were working, and the fight was stopped on the ground. The ground and pound, and he was on him on that one. And he was just throwing those ground and pounds, and it was stopped.
You never see knees get thrown like that, especially in a side control.
Yeah,
hopefully that opens up a new window for other fighters to see, hey, this could be something that could work, you know. But yeah, you never see that, and then Ring definitely did not see that coming. And once he got hit to the gut, you could just saw he kind of curled up a little bit more, and then that's when Pajuelo just started ground and pound on his fucking head with his hammer fist, and that's when they stopped the fight.
That knee, like you said, did work. I was like, dang, you could tell it took a lot out of him. Like, oh fuck. So that was a good round. That would be first round really. It ended right there. And, it was a nice exchange at first, they're going back and forth. And then, of course, when, like you said, Luis lands 3 right hands in a row and then rocks Robbie in the beginning. I thought that was pretty impressive there. So overall, that was the first fight, right?
Yeah, that was the first fight.
And then we went to the women's strawweight, where it was, I'm going to say the first names, Isis versus Josefine. And Isis was a 5-1 with the 5-win streak, and Josefine was 5-0. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be good. And any notes on this one?
It wasn't too exciting. I was kind of like upset seeing Josephine kind of like engage that grapple standing up for no reason when she rocked her from the very get-go with that head kick. And I get it, chasing it down to see what damage you could do while you clinch up, but she wasn't doing too much. And then she should have disengaged immediately when it wasn't going nowhere. And it happened majority of like the fight from round 1, 2, and 3. Like they'll just end up clinching, throwing some heavy knees, a couple of elbows, but it wasn't anything else too exciting. I mean, Knuttson did get the takedown, but the only thing exciting was the head kick from the very get-go. That was like, I thought it was gonna be something super exciting, but no, it was just clinching up, elbows, knees, and nothing much after that.
Yeah, because I mean, in the third round, the both were striking and landing well, and apparently Isis had a little bit more confidence, and she was actually leading the fight in the beginning. But then Josephine lands a body kick, and Isis goes down. Josephine takes the top control, but Isis crosses the cage, and she was able to get up. But it was still, Josephine still on the attack with her. But it's like you said, it wasn't exciting. And if you saw if you heard what Josephine said in the beginning, she didn't put a good performance on her last fight, and she wanted to show Dana White something on this fight. And I was looking for it throughout the whole fight, and I was waiting for her to finish, to dominate, to do a submission or something. And I didn't see any of that. If you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk, you finished, but there was really nothing exciting about this fight. All right, and then we go to the third fight, right?
Yeah, number 3, we got Kaik, Brito. Yeah, so we had Kaik,
Brito versus Elliott.
Yeah. Yes. So this fight, it was pretty good. So just to go over, I'm not too sure on the guys' records. Do you have the records, James?
Yeah. Okay. Brito has a 16-4 with 13 knockouts, 10 first-round finishes. And Elliott has a 4-fight win streak, 2 KOs and 3 submissions and 4 first-round finishes. So right here, I'm expecting a freaking battle coming out between both of these.
Yeah, and this was.
Go ahead.
I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty entertaining going back and forth. Round 1, Elliott did win all the judges on round 1. He did win by majority vote, but
yes,
he did take round 1. Round 2, though, was very interesting. I thought Elliott was going to be done for.
Yes.
And Brito, he had him on the ground. He rocked him first off. He rocked him like going into the second at some point, and then was able to eventually get him down to the ground. I think Elliott's, panicked a little bit, and he was just trying to recover. And I thought he was done. But this guy survived the second round.
Now, when you go into the second round, the last 6 seconds, he was fighting an armbar, right? He was in the armbar attempt, and it was only And then because I know DC and Shangsak, whatever, Laura Shangsak was saying, like the arm was loose, but he could have got out, but he gave back in, and then they put the armbar in him, like they said he could have got out of that. So, anyways, but 6 seconds left, he had it.
He hit the armbar, but then nothing was in there, And Elliott was just like there, just laying there, arm extended in the armbar for the last couple of seconds, but he didn't tap. And I thought he was done. I was like, no way. This guy walking to his corner looks a little drunk, right, from the punches and the damage. And then here comes round 3, and he is fresh. Like, looks like he just came back in from like round 1, like from the very beginning. And his recovery was amazing. And then he was able to deliver on that. And I was just blown away. I couldn't believe Elliott survived round 2. Brito has poor execution when he had him on the ground in the second round. Like DC said, it was like for 30 seconds that he had the arm locked, and he could have hit that arm bar a long time ago. But I think he was just gassed out and tired from trying to like put him out. So But going into the third, Elliott did his thing. He came back in to control the exchanges, and that was it. And he won, 2 of the 3 rounds from all the judges.
Yeah, and because like you said, I thought he was done in the second round. He came back, like you said, in the third. But of course, he was still tired. I mean, yes, I think he was fighting more with heart than anything. He was trying to push through, which I think all fighters should be doing that.
Yeah.
And especially in the third round, and if you know your contract's on the line. And he was able to push through. I mean, it wasn't a great performance at the end where he could finish because he was pretty much tired as well. But he did able to come through with the win.
Yeah, that was impressive. He did win by majority because one of the refs, Ron McCarthy, gave him 8 points in the second, so that's why he didn't win Ron McCarthy's. So it was a tie for him, and then he won the other 2 judges. So you never hear majority win,
Yeah.
So that was I was kind of caught off guard. I'm like majority, so then I put up the cards right now, and you could tell what happened. It was Ron McCarthy, and that's how he tied with the Brito.
There you go. And the last one I was pretty excited about because it was Eli against Zachary. And Zachary's from Texas. I'm like, all right, cool. There we go. I'm like, this is somebody that I could get behind. And he's 5-0 and all wins by first round. All wins by first round with 4 KOs. I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. And Eli had 5 finishes. 3 didn't go past 1 minute. And 1 win by KO and 2 by submission. So both have some pretty good records on there. Now, but if you go through all of these records real quick, it all depends on who they're fighting. Whether they're fighting somebody at their level or lower, it could manipulate the record on this. If there were 5 anybody's, like anybody from the backyard or something, then it doesn't really count. Because you could have an impressive record and then you just miss out.
Yeah. You remember that one guy that fought Jamal Emmers? He had like a 20-something and 0 record, 5 million plus people following him on Instagram.
Oh, yes.
And then Jamal was just lighting him up the entire time playing his game, and that guy could never come off and play his strategy at all. So, yeah, like you could tell when people come in with these impressive records and they come into the UFC and face like top talent, that's not even in the top 10% of like the UFC ranks, and he's still like, they don't look good, like they don't belong, and that says something, right? Like even these unranked guys in the UFC, like these guys are still monsters, are still deadly, and when you see this new up and coming or the hype guys from different leagues, they can't show why they're there to begin with.
I know, it's crazy, man. It is crazy.
We call those people Smurfs. They have fake records.
Smurfs. But this guy Eli, I mean, he looked like he was a real deal. I mean, the tank, I think they call him the tank or something. But I mean, you want to go over the fight?
Yeah, I could jump into it, but I was just gonna say the height discrepancy was huge, right? Eli was like 5'10", and Reese coming in at 6'4". The boy's tall for the class, right? At middleweight at 185. That's huge.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
And I love Reese's backstory, too, how his brother passed away and his brother's dream was to be in the UFC. So here comes Reese, like living that dream for both of them and making that promise to his brother. So I thought that was a cool little story. It got me bought in. I love the little Cinderella stories, So, but Reese came in and he did his thing and they went to the ground. And it was crazy to see how... I think he calls himself Ellie instead of Eli, but I'm gonna call him Eli.
Ellie, okay.
Yeah, but Ellie's he was playing defense in a submission, and he's the thicker guy. He can stack. He's shorter. It's easier for a shorter person to stack, anyways, on a tall guy. But for whatever reason, he postured up, and he had his elbow out for a little bit, but then he didn't really play the defense for that. He kind of like let Reese take it back in.
Oh shit! You know what? This is the fight that I said about the armbar attempt, where he had it for like. Oh no, never mind. Don't listen to me.
No, this was an armbar.
Yeah,
Elliott survived the armbar that he faced, but in this fight, Elliott he didn't play defense for the armbar. It was crazy to see. And he was able. He had the opportunity to get out of it. His elbow was past the threshold of being like past in between the legs, and he ended up posturing up. And Eli, he's long. He's gonna lock it back in, and that was a big mistake. Ended at what 1:45? It was a minute and 45 seconds. Something.
Yeah, see, this is what I called a snake. When the grapplers are able to make their moves real quick.
Yeah.
I was this is a snake move. This is another snake.
Yep. Yeah. So that was at 1 minute and 14 seconds. It happened so quick, like I couldn't even believe it happened because I thought he was gonna get back out of that armbar attempt, but Race and his long legs, he brought that arm right back in and finished it.
That was pretty good. That was a pretty good, impressive win, especially from Texas.
So I guess to conclude who got the contracts, we had 3 of the 4 fighters, or the 4 fights, get awarded a contract. And to start from the very beginning, but Pajuelo, he earned his contract, and then no one was awarded a contract with the Knuttson versus Verbeek for the girls' fight.
The women's, right? The women's.
Yeah. Even though Knuttson won by unanimous decision, it was like 30-27 across the board, I believe. It wasn't enough. Like we were kind of talking about, like Dana White wants to see the excitement. He needs that excitement in the women's divisions, you know. Because right now it's just getting dominated by the champions, the current champions.
Plus, he needs to sell fights too, so he doesn't want nothing, that's gonna be boring out there.
Yeah, exactly. So that was unfortunate for Knuttson. But moving on to the next, Elliott did get his contract. And he even dedicated the next fight to Dana White.
Yeah, I didn't get that one. I don't know. I don't think I would have gave him the contract. I mean, the only reason he won is because Dana said, it was kind of hard, but because he had the heart to continue fighting. And that was the only reason.
I think that was the most impressive thing for him to be nearly knocked out and survive a submission at the very end. And then to come back just fresh as he came into round 1. I think that was kind of eye-opening. For me, it was. I was like, oh, fuck, this guy is coming in hot. That was so strange to see. So maybe that's why he awarded him that contract, because he wants to see these fights continue, especially after you get beat up and survive a round. Let's see you come back into the next round and finish it. So maybe that's why. So, I was kind of blown away by that too a little bit, but then I guess that's the only credit I can give Elliott. He has that fucking second tank in him after he gets beat up pretty harsh. And then the last one went to Reese, of course. Yeah, with that quick first round submission against Ellie. So we got 3 of the 4 fights tonight, or from this week 3 series, awarded contracts. So that's pretty cool to see.
Now, during the post conference for Elliott, the one who barely got it, every time he was on the camera, man, he was just flexing and looking at himself. And he was like, okay, you look good. Okay, let's move on now. I mean, for somebody who barely got a contract, I mean, come on, you got to get over yourself already. Get back to the fucking gym and work on your craft. Don't look at the goddamn mirror that long or something. I was like, move on, buddy, move on. You barely got this.
Yeah.
And then he was even walking around with crutches at the end. So I'm like,
that's funny. But I'm not too sure who's fighting in week 4. Did you see that at all?
No, I was doing this at work, so I had to get back to work. But
okay, no worries.
Just some UFC news, real quick. The Rosas is coming back already. Raul Rosas. I think I forgot. I want to say he's in 293. Not 293. One of the series coming up. It's not this Holloway. The one after that. And he should be coming up. Maybe, let me see. Hold on. Because it's in Mexico. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's with Alexa Grasso and Shanchenko, too.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, he's, I think, in the main card, but the first fight. He's fighting Terrence Mitchell. So he's back, because it was the second fight he had was not impressive.
He gassed out.
Yeah.
And the vet had his way with him. Yep. So hopefully Raul Rosas learned his lesson, and now he needs to control his youthful side, right? And trying to go too crazy. That's not always going to work. It might work against an old head in the UFC, an OG, then you can just outdo him strictly by just energy and power, but He fought a guy that's right in the middle. He's been in the league or in the UFC for a good while, but he has the discipline to fight these kind of guys that are coming in with all the juice and the youthful side of the energy, and he let Raul have it, So that was a funny fight to watch.
And then I know we were talking about Kevin Holland last time, and he's fighting in this card too, welterweight too, number 13. If that's the one you were talking about before.
I mean, this is an exciting UFC fight night. For it to be a championship fight, I mean, I don't know if that's disrespectful for the women, but the card is lit up, though. I will say, I am excited for this card because we have the championship fight against Alexa and Valentina, and then we got Kelvin Gastelum, Shavkat Rakhmonov, that we were kind of talking about as well.
Yep.
Kevin Holland and JDM. Jack Della Maddalena. You got D-Rod fighting Santiago, Raul Rosas again with Terrence. So this card is stacked. And you got Chris Curtis against Anthony Hernandez. So some good names on this card. I'm excited to watch it all. Got to put some money on this.
Oh, here we go. Back to the money part now. Another piece of news is that Conor McGregor looks like the December fight is back on. December is back on the table for Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. It looks like I guess he might have, Conor, because Conor is the one who put this out. He put December is back on the table. So he tweeted that out. So he must have passed, or he must be following all the guidelines that they say December is going to look good for him. All right, another piece of news: Mayra Bueno Silva, who just beat Holly Holmes, announced that she tested positive for the drug test for after the fight. But she's saying that it's about her ADHD drugs or something, her medication. It's not about, performance enhancing and so forth. And tomorrow they're supposed to do the ruling if she's going to be suspended or not. And to me, at this point, if she's having problems now, I bet you they're going to do the Juliana Pena and, was it Pennington?
Yeah.
The Pennington fight. And I think they're going to go from there to see who's going to be the interim champion. Because Raquel Pennington should have been fought like 2 fights ago. Like twice already. And they pushed her down. So I'm sure they got to give her some type of title fight now. So those are just some side piece news that I saw there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what next week brings for week 4 Contender Series. It's pretty exciting. I haven't been able to watch it in the past, but now we're kind of following this as much as we can and jumping into the different events that UFC is hosting. And to be honest, week 3 of the Contender Series did not let down. It was pretty exciting to watch, seeing these guys put out everything on the line. I love this kind of scenario. It's do or die and make your money or don't. So I'm excited.
And it was exciting. You're right. I mean, it gave you everything, and it was right after each other. So that's what I like. No too much backstory. I mean, they had a little bit, but after that, boom, let's get back in the ring and let's start fighting. So that was pretty. I mean, 2 hours of nonstop fighting. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, it moves fast. So it's a good entertainment on a Tuesday night for sure.
All right. Well, I guess until next week, we'll do episode number 4, and we'll go from there.
Awesome.
All right. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, leave in the comments if you agree with us. If you don't, who are your fighters? What did you think about the fighters? And we could open up a discussion for that. Thank you for watching.
Let's do it. Later.